Good evening, welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. We are starting with a game of Lukas Moravec versus Madniks Zerg, and that's mainly because Lukas has been updating again and the bot is really getting stronger, so it will be a treat to see him play, I believe. I haven't seen this replay yet. I have seen some pretty good games over the last couple of days of Mr. Moravec, so let's see what this game has in store for us. Starting out with a Forge Fast Expand, and before the Zerglings arrive, quick look at the ladder because the deadline for... oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Deadline for the 2017 finals is the 22nd of December, and with Crazier back and, well, him and the Cutest basically owning the ladder, and then we've got Purple Wave at 100 points. And after that, it's Milan and Rain, even, well, that's 70 points lower, and after that, the cliff is pretty steep, so, and those are already really good players, just in there. Purple Swarm, Steamhammer, Proxy, and Killerbot, and that's not even Cherry Pie with last year's victory. It's in about 20th place, and that's really something. So, without further ado, we have here got, oh, the Zerglings have stalled a little bit. That's always good for me, because otherwise they would have reached the cannon. And for Lukas, oh, the cannon is rather late. Will the Ling get by? Yes, it will. That was beautifully timed. And now it's going after the probe. But Lings, being weak as they are on their own, and if they are not really micro-well, oh, one missed shot onto the high ground, and then the Ling is dead. Probe coming to guard the ramp. That's a nice trick. A little bit late, but I didn't think that the probe saw very much, perhaps because there is nothing there to see. Now, this is an Overlord, this is a Scouting Zergling, and we've got a handful of Zerglings guarded by an Overlord, and basically that's it for Madniks. Madniks is not going to make an awful lot of workers, going for a Hydra Den, so might be going for some kind of a lurker push. With all the cannons up, I don't really think that's going to work too well. SimCity could be a little bit cleaner, but basically this is what you need, and you've got these 1-2 cannons with the forge, with the gateway, and ooh, that Zealot is being escorted home. The first cannon is not yet up, but with 2 probes and 2 cannons, that was really rather well held at only the cost of 1 Zealot, so I think that Lukas came out ahead over there. And that's going to be another cannon in a strange place, but oh, you never know. So, we've got a Hydra then. So, Hydras are coming up. Link speed. No lair, no lurkers. So, I don't know what Madniks' play is going to be. It's going to be a little bit slow. The Zergling bust didn't work, obviously. And because Lukas went for a 2-base opening, it will be some time before it can actually exert some pressure on the map. And Zealot voluntarily lays down its life for some minor scouting information. At least Lukas now knows what kind of a force is going to be there. And Madniks is going to play... oh, that's pretty brave. You can see the Link's not really committing, not even killing this one cannon. And now the one Hydra is going to have to run for its life. Although the Zerglings might come and help, they are not doing so. There is one sunken and an option for another one. The Hydra is just not going to be there at all. Hydra speed will be done momentarily, so perhaps we are going to see some micro. We haven't got a lair yet. The drone count's still pretty low, and Lukas behind this. What is happening? Oh dear, that's pretty pro. A couple of Corsairs, I think that's quite a lot. With 2 Stargates just for Corsairs, that's interesting, and I think if this is going to be a Templar Archives... oh, here comes another incursion, but... ooh, the Hydra's dealing damage, Zealot just living it through, but... yeah, that's beautifully defended by Lukas. And with a couple of Corsairs overhead, they are not going to do very much versus the Zealot, the Hydras, but... it's good to have them there. 3rd base taken for Lukas. And Lukas, well, the Corsairs are there, but the Corsairs aren't really all that hot on attacking Overlord, so that's going to be a minor fly in the ointment, because, oh, here we go. We've only got 1 gateway, so 2, that might be a little fly in the ointment. But we will have Dark Templars, and here is one, but there is an Overlord already. And... that's a good way to lose 2 Corsairs for no good reason, and you can see no Overlord has been... oh, this one has been harassed a little bit. We've got 2 spores, but this one might just bite the dust. This one's pretty ballsy, but just hang him over the spores and you'll be fine. But that's, of course, a hard thing to do. Now the Hydras are at the gates, and oh, the Overlord is lagging behind, but the Dark Templars don't really dare attack the Hydra, so I think it's a nice-ish play by... Oh, now they leave the base. The Hydras leave the base as well. You can see Madniks going to full macro mode. The Dark Templar micro could be a lot better, actually, because with 2 Dark Templars you could have taken out some Hydras. Same goes for the Natural, which now looks like a bit of a ruin. And with 2 cannons on the high ground, I don't think you are going to stop this lot of Hydras. Oh, 2 DTs clipped an expansion, that's always good. And, oh, the Crazier, yeah, it's there, it's shooting Overlords, but it's not really. And then again, you can't really do too much against this amount of Hydras. Is Storm ready? No, not yet. Oh, and now the High Templars die, and that's about it. How do I enter my screen? Like this. And I think that, well, the play could be a little bit primmer, but in the end, it's just the Hydras of Madniks being too much of a match for the Cutest ingenuity of Lukas. Nice to see some new features like the Dark Templar, the Corsairs and the Storm, but still there is work to be done. Next game up, it's a new bot, it's a Terran called Feint, and Feint is going to play Haupan, because if we are going to have a new bot on the ladder, why not pit it against one of the better ones out there. Haupan, of course, based on Ironbot, is a force to be reckoned with, and well, we'll have to do a lot of updates to be contender, but is going to be a very strong contender for the round of 16, round of 8 in any event. And depending on the draw, if it's going to play a lot of Zerg and Protoss, might well get further. Protoss excluding Purple Wave and the Cutest, of course, and perhaps even Banana Brain and Bereaver, and oh dear, there are so many good Protoss nowadays. It's really hard to beat Terran. And Haupan being under a lot of pressure, but Feint's micro is not really up to the job at the moment. The Marines, they walk out a little bit, and as this is basically a 2 racks all-inish kind of a thing, and Haupan is going for the factory with some gas in the bank. Interesting bunker micro there, that must be said. This is obviously not going to work, attacking a bunker up the high ground with just pure Marines without even a medic. Oh, there is gas now, so might we have an academy? Yes, perhaps we will, but still playing Bio versus Terran, especially a Terran of the caliber of Haupan. That's going to be a very uphill battle, and now you've got a Vulture in your main, that's one. Oh, and a Wraith as well. So I think that this is pretty much over. There is going to be a turret. There are going to be 2 Marines, but you can see the number of Vultures is greater than the number of Marines, and that's a little bit too many turrets and not enough ground forces. So that is the game. That wasn't really fair, was it? I need to find Feint. And I'm going to grab another replay because this was obviously not really all that great. Or do we have... Did I already have another replay with Feint in it? Oh yes, I had. So, sorry for being a nuisance. Let's see if the versus Zerg is any better, because I'd already picked a Zerg, not knowing it would go Bio versus Haupan. So, Feint, again, as the Terran, and Alien has been ages since we've seen Alien updated, but it can still throw a really nasty game if you let it be for too long, and that will be the challenge for Feint, not to let it be, because once a Zerg gets out of hand, and especially if it's a well mid-tier Zerg like Alien, it will take the map and run you down with anything it's got. So again, we see a handful of Marines, I think about 6, 7 coming up. 7 Marines, and what have we got in the form of Zerglings? Oh, we've got a nice bit of Zerglings. So that is, have they got speed? No speed yet. And now a little bit quicker with the gas and the academy, so I think that's okay. There is one sunken. And with the Zerglings, oh, the Zerglings are now going to see these Marines home. hello. This is not going to be awfully funny as far as running back to your base goes. Will there be... oh, there will be medics. So that is something that Feint can do, but still the medics need to... will they fight with the medics? Yes, they will fight with the medics. Have we got Stim? Stim is nearly done, so these Marines should sit back just a little bit because... oh, there are quite so many Zerglings, and that's going to be potentially very painful, especially since another batch of Zerglings is waiting over here. But we've got one complement of about 21 SCVs mining. It's just going to be Bio, and now we have got Stim, and we've got Fire Bats and all, so that's that's a lot of Zerglings. So you are really, even as a Fire Bat, you're going to need a lot of Stim and medics to help them deal with that. And the Zerglings are fighting outside of the range of the Sunken. I don't think that's the wisest decision. And the medics, oh, the medics might well fall. Oh, the first one falls. Oh, God. You can see that Stim with the Fire Bat just going off in the middle of these Zerglings. It's just instant bloodbath. But now the medic, oh, and the grouping of Feint is not really... even if it's just turning and fighting to die, the Fire Bat can be such a menace to these poor Zerglings. Upgrade-wise, nothing much there. We've got siege mode, but this tank is going to be overtaken and nibbled to little pieces. Oh yeah, and sieging is not really the answer right there. And this command center might actually be the saving grace, giving Feint the opportunity to regroup a little bit, but regrouping is not really its strong point, just going to throw its handful of units out there. And they'll probably be gnawed to bits by the Zerglings. Again, still no medics, no bunker. But as far as new bots go, I think this is okay. Now immediately, once the medic arrives, the Stim's being thrown, and you can see these Zerglings running for dear life, but hello, we have got more. And at this point, it's just going to look like the Matrix scene where the Agent Smith thing is going to clone itself over and over again. And that is a lot of Zerglings. So now the Marines are fighting when they're with their backs to the wall. I like that, that's excellently coded. And now you can see, oh no, you just hold the line and get some medics and get your composition better, repair your tank, but again, that might be for a later stage in the game. And actually, the army supply for Alien is pretty depressed at the moment. Wow. Going for an expansion, has got this drone over here doing nothing, drone count not all that high, and Feint is actually routing the army of Alien at this moment. Taking a new base in a strange position, upgrade wise, well, Zerg is going to be ahead, but one or two medics in this entire game would have been over ages ago. So, oh, there are medics, but there are over here, going to chase these two Marines to God knows where. And now Feint is threatening the new expansion of Alien. There is siege mode, but nothing is going to be siege, and no repair, but again, that should be saved for a later stage. The natural is up in a strange position, or the second base is not the natural actually. And Feint is really getting ahead with the army supply, now taking down the new base of Alien. Alien, what are you going to do? Just make a lot of upgrades and make a handful of Zerglings and Hydra, that will only get you so far. You can see with a couple of medics and Stim Marines, they have got the range. This is going to be bloody murder, because these Marines will just soak up anything Zergling and Hydra-ish thrown in their way, and these two tanks, although one is nearly dead, are going to be more than a match for any Sunken there is, but they should not be buffering damage for the Marines, because with 3 Sunkens in the rear and only 2 medics, ooh, that's a lot of Marines and a lot of firepower though. There is still 1 Sunken, and it's doing what it can. There's some Zerglings coming off from the rallies, they help out the... oh, that was a really tense hold for Alien. But then Feint is plodding on. Look at that stream of Marines coming in. Have you got more upgrades? +1 has started, and I think this is Alien about to be broken, doing too much, and Hydra, Queen, Spire not getting any units. All the while, workers are being lost to Marines and medics. Upgrade-wise, it's okay. You've got the +2 attack, but you're going to need a little bit of armor as well, because these Marines, they dish out the damage really hard, and Feint is going to macro its way out of this game. Look at all the barracks being thrown up, so that's a nice feature. Just balancing your income with your production. That's actually very nicely done. Depot planning might be a thing, because there is only one depot being built, and if you've got 3 bases mining really, you are going to need a little bit more supply planning done. But all in all, this is a very solid victory versus a not decent Zerg. And are there lurkers coming? Yes, there are, but might this be a lurker? Oh yes, it is, and it was. So that's that, as they say. And seeing there are comsats, I don't think that's going to be helpful. And Alien GG's the hell out of this game, and that's the first recorded victory for Feint. Next game up, it is going to be Microwave versus Antigua. Microwave upgraded its bot as well, or micro-decayed, but there is such a lot of work to be done. If you take into consideration all the good protoss and the good terrain, with the goon abuse, with the mines of the vultures and the siege mode and the stimp marines, it's really hard as a Zerg to get by. I hate this Terran music. Oh, that's much better. It's so loud, and Terrans in general are just terrible. Well, not play-wise, but culture-wise. They've got all these rednecks and stuff. It's just not my kind of people. So, yeah, you could figure on a couple of... Oh, with 3 zealots, might you not take on this amount of lings? I don't know. With 4 then, yes, and now the Zerglings will commit. And not commit, so we've got the upper hand for Antigua right at this time. Sunken's really beautifully built. Nice stretch of straight territory before it, and 2 Sunkens is better than 1. Worker-wise, Microwave is really scraping by with only 10. That is going to be a Hydra then, so this must be a kind of an all-inish lurker kind of play coming up. 1 Zealot is going down, a couple of Zealots are sort of damaged, and this Overlord is just sitting here, and that I think is a weak point of Antigua, because the enemy is just seeing everything, and right now it's only going to be Zealots thrown at you, and ooh, the Zerglings, they should fight in range of the Sunkens. That would be much more appropriate. But 3 Sunkens though, and perhaps some rallies. Now the drone count is getting upped a little bit, and these Zealots are pretty damaged. So I think for the time being, Microwave is okay. We've got a Hybrid end, we haven't got a lair. And we haven't still got gas over here. We've got a natural, but this might be an excellent time to go for a lurker play, because it's going to be ages before the enemy, which hasn't even got an assimilator at this point, is going to have gas and access to detection. And now the Hydras are going to bait the Zealots into the sunken lines. That's beautifully done. And now the Sunkens are really coming into play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Zealots just dying, and these Hydras being real bullies. And these Zealots had better retreat. But now Antigua started to mine gas, lots of gateways, natural up and running, probe count really good, and it should just be careful not to lose too many Zealots at this point. Hydras have got speed at this point, so micro-wise it's going to be harder and harder. Will there be lurkers? No. Or will we have Hydra range? In-base hatchery, excellent decision. Nice tight play by Microwave. Microing okay-ish, but you've really got to keep on those Zealots, because you've only got 8 Hydras and there are 18 Zealots out right now, and that's not going to be very much in the way of fun. And now with goons as well. So this might be a 3rd base coming up for Protoss, really using the map control well. And now we've still got 8 Hydras, and I don't really know what the bloody game plan is for Microwave, but with 8 or 10 Hydras versus a 3-base Protoss, it's going to be increasingly difficult. Hydra range and +1 armor coming up. Is Microwave actually going to do this with pure Hydra? Looks like it is. Nice concaving, but once the goons rock up... Oh, and this is not the right place for morph lurkers. I still cannot wrap my head around these AI's tendency to morph lurkers in the middle of the map, where A, they can be seen, and 2, shot at. But as far as the game without detection is concerned, this gateway thing is completely over. We have got... Well, we've got about 8 lurkers now. Small peak, oh, 6, that wasn't too bad. But we've got the third base, and we have got a Robo Bay. Might we have... Yeah, we got some cannons and all, but ideally this would be... Oh, they are balked on the neutral power generators. That's not good at all. This might be an excellent time to get some detection if you're a Protoss, or just try to do some Cutest micro with your goons. That's always a good option, because you can micro so many goons down before they reach your base. Fourth base up, that's really excellent. No cannons at the natural. That is, I'd say it's a big mistake. And right now, is that going to be the observatory? Yes, it is. Let's see if that's going to be in time or not. Because Microwave seizing the opportunity to get a third base up. Worker production is okay, but this is really rather late for a forward pylon to which you can attach some cannons. And now the lurkers are sieging up the natural of Antigua, and the question is, where the hell is that bloody detection? There is an observer coming, but the natural is about to be broken. Where is that observer? It's taking its sweet time. There it is, and it's sitting still on top of the Robo Bay. Can you believe it? And now, oh, we've got another one. Oh no, that's the Templar Archives. That's pretty good. We've got an observer, but we haven't got anything to fight the lurkers, because even though there are observers, these zealots are really hesitant to fight, and they keep dying in droves. And the Hydras and the lurkers just having a really fun time in the main base of Antigua. Antigua sort of not trying to relocate here. Oh, that's a nice simultaneous attack, multiple control groups. I like that by Microwave. And although the observers see it, they had better see what's going on here and help the zealots fight off the lurkers and hydras. A thing which is at this point not really happening. And as a result of that, your main base looks like this. Now with the back to the wall, some zealots are trying to fight their way through the hydras, but I think this is it. And still a probe is going to try and rescue the main base, but obviously that's not going to work. And Microwaves just silently exploding onto the map, getting a lot of muters, a couple of drones, nice composition, good upgrades, not too much tech, but in the end Antigua completely unprepared for the lurkers, and that is, as they say, the good game. So Microwave might still get there, play might be a little bit trimmer, and of course there are stronger opponents than Antigua, but all in all, a challenge. Another challenger is Banana Brain, because, well, out of the Protoss right there, and let's have a look at the results. You've got the Cutest Purple Wave, Banana Brain. And Banana Brain is only 200 points down compared to the number one bot at this moment. So, with the luck of the draw, and it might get very far, and the level of play is getting very refined. Now, Xiao for the COG 2019 is going to be a force to be reckoned with, because it is so very, very strong. Now, being very, very strong is not enough. You've really got to be the best, and in these AI games, if you are the best, you keep clobbering the rest until your elo maxes out, basically. And it's not often the case that if you've got a bot which is 10% better than the other player, it would win, oh, my math sucks, but basically from every 10 games it would win 6. No, if the bot is 10% better, generally speaking it wins 9 out of 10, and these small differences are going to be around a lot, because the AI is learning over longer sets of games and not really adaptive. So yeah, it's not really in-game learning what's happening, so no checking out what the enemy is doing. And this is really awkward, because Banana Brain has only got 2 zealots, and there are marines and vultures in the base. And now with a goon or 2, I think it might be a lot better. And these vultures have had their time, not before killing a lot of zealots and mainly workers. So Xiao going for an academy, nice kind of hybrid play. We see that a lot from Crazier as well, and got one machine shop to a factory. This is going to be another factory probably. Natural is there with a comms hat but no bunker. And oh, sorry, I missed the next incursion of the vultures, and Banana Brain with 2 goons is doing okay. Have they got range? Yes, they have, but all in all, the fighting could be a little bit better. They are very, very eager to get back to their home base, and if you are 3 goons versus just Marines, Vultures, and 1 Wraith, you can have quite a lot of fun if you are well microed. Any questions, ask the Cutest. So, no third bases yet, no defense at the natural, lots of tech coming out of Xiao, and Banana Brain going for a lot of goons, but it's not as aggressive with the goons as its big brother, Cutest, and Purple Wave can be a little less passive as well. Now, Xiao has got a very interesting composition, 2 Wraiths. They are not harassing anything, so that's strange. And the goons, well, they are growing in number, and before you've got tank, you can't really let the goon count get out of control too much. 2 cannons in the base for Wraith protection, no worker raids around there. And Banana Brain playing it really, really safe, and having snuck in a 3rd, I think that's always a good idea. And this is something you've got to prevent though, because you are going to be trapped, and had there been tanks, and I can only imagine the tanks not being too far off, and that's really a lot of air forces for a Terran without competition in the air. Oh god! Okay. So, if you had got an observer, and you want to lose 5 goons, that's how you do it. Basically. And had there been 2 tanks, Banana Brain would have been run into the ground a long time ago. And the army control is right now having great difficulties with the vultures and supporting units basically from Xiao. Xiao not going for a 3rd. That is 2 Valks sitting on 2 tanks, while these tanks could have been instrumental in gaining... Oh god, that's playing Minesweeper the hard way. Where's the bloody observer? Tanks could have been instrumental in winning this game already. And these raids are... This is not... This should be better. Especially if you're going to have a look at the top spots. That is not something you should do too often. Still, no 3rd base for Xiao, and Xiao is going to mine out. Banana Brain understands that. Has got a 4th base, no cannons there yet. And I think that the vultures are going to take down a lot of probes before even a pylon gets thrown up. Or will this probe do it? Do it! No, probably not. Battle is raging now with tanks, and you can see how deadly they are. They have got +1 weapons. Oh, that would have been a very nice scarab. And now, Banana Brain, oh, even though it's got High Templar, Storm's not yet ready, and Reavers. Reavers are ready, but tanks versus Reavers is generally rock, paper, scissors, atom bomb kind of play. And you can see that although the Reavers are doing okay, they do catch a lot of tank fire. And Banana Brain is actually making a lot of headway in this Terran army. Ooh, that is really some dedicated fighting by these gateway units. All the Reavers are gone. I saw a High Templar earlier. I don't know where it is now. It's sitting underneath the shuttle. Don't know if that's going to work. Perhaps a High Templar drop. That might be awesome. Now the goons are in full minesweeping mode. And now finally a 3rd base by Xiao, but the lane is getting very, very low, and Banana Brain is getting into full macro mode. You can see that still the minesweeping is pretty good, but it's costing way too many units. Oh dear, oh dear, all these units are so low. And the thing is, there is an observer, but for some reason it does not really compute, and that is a good way to lose Shuttle and Reaver as well. And yeah, nice storms, but all in all the game has been won in macro already. And Banana Brain has been lucky that there weren't any tanks at the first push. Now these siege tanks are really dishing out the damage by the bucket load, so the natural might still be held. Look at these goons take a beating. A couple of tanks on the high ground, and this is something you shouldn't really be too happy about if you were a goon and he got the go-ahead, and it just blew the whistle over the top and straight into cannons in front of them, cannons to the left of them, and everywhere blown over. The action is just so good I can't evenly charge the light brigade anymore. Nice storm, even an arbiter overhead. Volleyed and thundered, storm that with shot and shell. Boldly they rode and well into the jaws of death and into the mouth of hell. Something like that, but now the tanks are just not enough, and Banana Brain is everywhere, making a lot of upgrades. Tech-wise, it's okay, still waiting for recall, but yeah, should be a little bit sharper on the tank and keeping your contain out of the way, so you're not going to get contained by siege tanks. But this game is over. Now the question is, will Xiao Yi try to restart? There are minerals, there is income, a little bit. Population of these outlying bases is absolutely minimal. Is it building anything? Yes, it's building a Wraith, and right now this is not really the place where you should build a Wraith, because A, it's a Wraith, it's not going to do any good versus this kind of an army, and B, you'll have to develop a job, get it back to your bases, and C. Oh, and a science vessel, oh god. So if this is killed, I think the science vessel will be cancelled. Yeah, money back in the bank. And you can see Banana Brain just making infrastructure at this point, because it's not really worth it anymore. And Xiao Yi is sort of stuck, not making anything here. Perhaps... oh yes, the SCV is going to save the day, and finally another one is going to be built, but this is... look at the number of gateways. Where the hell are all these gateways? You've got some here, I like that. So you can sort of instantly replenish if your entire army should keel over, but that is a lot of gateways. And yeah, that's what a max Protoss army looks like. Oh, apparently Goon died, 2 mines, but next game up. And that's mainly because... oh no, let's have this one. That almost went well. Another try. Okay, so let's take stock. Xiao Yi was not enough match for Banana Brain. Let's see how it fares against Crazier. And Crazier is going to throw a little bit of cheese. Sorry, I completely missed that. So, should be important in this game to see if the scouting probe is going to see it. It's going the other way round, so it doesn't see this base. And if it comes back, will it see that base? No, it doesn't see anything. And once it sees this base, it should know something is up. But I don't know how sophisticated it actually is. Now, Crazier going for a marine and has to scout with the marines, and has now found the enemy base. So you can see the 2 marines. This one's stuck, but all the other marines are sort of converging on the zealots, but there are way too many zealots, and I can't really see this going all too well for the marines. 1 is down, 2 is down, there is even a goon, and Crazier has just made a horrible, horrible mistake. And this is the map is filled with marines with low health running for their lives, and still they keep on oh god, threatening the gateway units. While the worker count is in favor of Banana Brain, the army count is in favor of Banana Brain, the tech is in favor of Banana Brain, and Crazier, what the hell can you do from here on out? It looks like really nothing, because it's just going to be pumping marines and the occasional SCV, but right now it's just completely going for the all-in, and that might be something we should keep in mind, because Crazier has been known to do that sort of crazy things before the final deadline. Just send in a Protoss with cheesy strategies, or just commit hardcore. Oh, and finally there is something more going to happen, but still you are going to need a lot of dedicated play to hold off. I think that's 13 goons. Yeah, that's 13 goons with range, and you've only got 2 barracks pumping marines to keep them in check until your own factory is ready. And this probe is seeing everything, but I don't really think that Banana Brain is at all acting on that information. That's so strange. Crazier throwing up a turret for hasty defense is going to build a tank and is flying over an eBay, and now the goons are on the loose. Oh, that's yeah, sure. That was a nice regroup, but unfortunately it did not work. Now, Crazier. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, so if Crazy is going to play like that, Banana Brain will have a very sensible game. Yeah, let's do it like this. So we've got another, that's GG, another new bot. It's Z and Z bot again. How many games have we got at this point? That's a little bit much, but if I speed it up, I just might get them both in. It is going to be TCMU Protoss with the Immaculate SimCity. This Zealot is not going to get in, 2 Zealots are not going to get in either, and that's a really nice fast expand. With a lot of cannons, must be said. Because you never know, and I think in this instance it has been a good decision, because there is quite a bit of gateway stuff coming out of Z and Z. I'll just call it Z and Z, that's going to be proper, I think. Lots of gateways, a little bit of gas. Oh, and a Dark Templar. So, now what? That's going to be a forge, probably. So, adaptive play is there. But until the adaptive play is reaching the stage where you actually got detection, it is going to take a while. And some goons may lose their lives before that. Are there more DTs coming? Yes, there is one, but it's taking its sweet time. It's sort of breakdancing towards the enemy. And the other 2 DTs are having a field day as well. There are 2 cannons, unfortunately not really in the right place. There is an observatory, and I must assume that an observer is going to be built as well, but the loss of goon life is extensive. And they should at this point just retreat, and this is about the line where they can hold the Dark Templar. And now the observer is there, and I think the Dark Templar will have to run for their bloody lives. And this is not a good place for a gateway. So what's happening? Range is being built by TCMU and nothing else. No natural for Z and Z. That's important as well. Meanwhile, the goons with the observer overhead are approaching the cannons, and that's going to be a bit of a standoff at this point. Natural for Z and Z. That's good. So far, adaptive play being very sloppy with the observer, but there are 2 more somewhere. Unfortunately, not with the goons, and they're going to get another trashing at the hand of 2 DTs. So where are... Oh, one's here. Yeah. So although some more goon blood is shed, I think this concave is really pretty nice, and it looks almost Cutest-ish. So after Darchin, might we have another Cutest-based... and again, the observer is just taking leave without permission. TCMU snuck out a probe. Brilliant. Because you can sort of sustain a 2 versus 2 base for a long time, but if the enemy has got Locutus like Goon Micro, you're not going to have much fun doing it. And you can see TCMU's goons, no, admittedly TCMU's Goon Micro is not the best, are suffering a little bit because of the goons of Z and Z. Upgrades. Z and Z a little bit later on the +1. And now have they found this base over here? Yes, they have. This might be expensive for TCMU. There is nothing here to defend. And the expeditionary force is going to be... Oh, all the goons were on move command, so a couple of them were lost, but... this base has not been spotted. And TCMU is still okay, but Z and Z has got a 3rd up as well, and I must say that it looks a lot like the Cutest, really. TCMU now with Storm. That's good. Are there High Templar? No. So that's what it does. Meanwhile, the main battlefield is being camped by Z and Z, and macro is going on both sides of the map. But TCMU is not really protecting its bases enough and hasn't got access to the map. There is a High Templar now. There are 2 actually. So perhaps this might be in favor of TSC New. You can see, oh, this is brilliant. Large green micro battles going on. TSC New actually gaining the upper hand, although the army supplies are about dead even. And the two Dark High Templar, have we got more? Yes, we have got 3, are coming in as well, but they haven't really found a way onto the front lines yet, and that's not good. But TSMU is now mining its half of the map, and even though Z&Z has got one more base, it's now, I think that, yes, that's a nice storm, that's another nice storm. Some goons are dying, a couple of observers are being taken as well, that's good. But generally speaking, you 2-1 to fire. Oh, that's 3 storms, and you take all the shields off, so you've got to keep firing with your other goons. But TSMU instead is going for a kill on this base over here. Not really efficient, taking pot shots and everything. And Z&Z is going for a counter push. Now, will TSMU have enough forces to stop that? Oh, Dark High Templar lost, that's very sloppy. 1-2 bases clipped by this Goon Force, but the main base might be under serious attack soon. And a couple of Dark Templars clipped, but this forest of Photon Cannons is holding the natural for TSMU. And now, with the main being out, natural not yet getting low because it was rather late. And some skirmishes in the middle of the map lost because TSMU has got far superior upgrades. I think that Z&Z is going to have to fight pretty hard to get anything out of this game still. TSMU is doing what it can, getting stuck with a handful of units because, I don't know, insufficient micro. And now, even though Z&Z has got a sizable army, it is largely an army on the run, and TSMU is making short work of the stray units being picked up here and there. Oh, with an Archon and all, that's really beautiful. Especially like an Archon with low health, even though I haven't got a unit portrait, it is so beautiful, that dark red. And although Z&Z is macroing quite well and producing a lot of units, in the combat micro department things could be a little better, although TSMU is now going to lose a base. And even though the goons are being brought back, yes, basically 1 upgrade ahead of Z&Z. And Z&Z is running too much. And if you are running, you are not shooting. It's not like you are running tanks. It's goons which don't really shoot all that well when retreating. Now TSMU, I think, cannot fight the rallies. And the storms could be a little bit more combined with their own goons. That said, TSMU is keeping excellent tabs on all the enemy expansion. This is costing Z&Z serious money, and money is running out because TSMU has got almost all the map and the 2 last mining bases. Oh, that's, yes, double storm with goons on top. That is beautiful, and TSMU is dismantling the 3rd as well as the natural right now. So I must give props to Z&Z for fighting such a good game versus TSMU. And I am not going to do the other one because I am running out of time. And I want to wrap this up. Is that bloody software recording still? Yes, because 2 weeks ago it didn't really, and that was a major bother. So that is the GG. TSMU with full upgrades, not too much tech, no arbiters for example. Oh, nice Corsair overhead, always good to have. We are going into the last game of today, and this is really line on the unicorn at this point because the Cutest has been on top for so long, and Crazier just couldn't handle that and brought back his Terran with a couple of good upgrades, and now it is, well, the tables are turned, and it is not, the difference is not that big. Crazier is at this point not winning 100 or 90, 80%, perhaps 70 versus the Cutest. But Crazier is not invulnerable, has been shown in the past. Haven't really got time to do an extensive overview of Crazier's strengths and weaknesses and games won and lost, but suffice to say it's very, very strong. The Cutest is going to do what it can do, and if I show you when we had the last update, it was in the 4th of October. That's quite a long while ago, and I must say I think that players will be hiding some sleeves, some cards up their sleeve, and not going to show all their tactics running up to the final deadline being 22nd of December. Cannot repeat that often enough. Always we've got someone missing it, and then we'll have to give an extension or do something. So please, for the 22nd of December, have your bot ready to do major battle in the biggest AI Brute War tournament of the world. Now Cutest is going for an SCV chase. The SCV is trying to lure the goon away. Not going to work, and I think with one bunker and a couple of SCVs for repair, that ought to be good enough. Oh, and only one factory. Siege mode being done. Researching almost. We have got one vulture. We haven't got mines, and the tank is still building. But Cutest uncharacteristically losing a lot of shield damage and losing a goon even as well. That's not good at all. But Cutest still untouched. Going to make a lot of workers, a lot of goons. I must assume range is done. And with the forge, might be a good idea to get the +1. Or get some armor. That's always nice if you are going to commit to goons. Making a couple of quick upgrades, that is going to help as well. And now you can see the Cutest not hindered by anyone, having complete map control, is going to macro like a champion. Not going to overdo it. Oh, and they did they just... The tank is there. Let's keep an eye on it. That's gone. Oh, it's right up here. That's really... Oh, it's going to take down the power generators. That's good. And if you are going to take power generators or Zelnaga temples, or that's basically it, do it with splash damage, because then there are about 10 or 20 or so stacked on top of each other. If you are going to take that down with non-splash damage, it's going to take you forever. Now, with 2 tanks, and I must say, I don't know what this tank is going to do, but with 2 tanks in a bunker, you can hold off a fair number of goons. And that's a good thing, because with all the workers and the income that the Cutest has, there are going to be a lot of goons. And really, right now, Cutest is banking on its ungodly good goon micro. But if there is nothing to micro against, like static siege tanks, the game is getting a whole lot more difficult. And you can take all the bases you want, and you can run as many goons into this gauntlet you like, but it's not going to make much of a difference. Crazier is just going to get its tank count up, make a lot of upgrades. +1 weapons is starting rain. No! Bloody hell. Oh, and it's just resumes. Oh, that's absolutely magnificent. Sorry about that. Is the recording still going? Yes, the recording is still going as well. I'm really lucky today. But from a certain point, if you've got 20 tanks, you can, on some kind of choke or a bridge or whatever, you can have as many goons and zealots as you can have with 200 supply, and it won't matter anymore. That said, there is going to be a hell of a lot of production coming out of Cutest. Look at that. That's just impressive. Crazier taking a base over here, and Cutest might send some fighting forces to do something about that as well. Crazier being very meticulous with the tank micro, not overdoing itself. That's a large worker transfer. Lots of mines all over the place. Keeping good tabs on the map with vultures, with rage, just scouting, picking up a zealot here, clipping a goon there. Oh, and now the Cutest looks it's going to commit, and there are only 2 or 3 or 4 tanks, but deeper in the choke there is a lot more, and Crazier can just start blasting as soon as another goon gets into range, and that's... You can say it's unfair, but there are weak points for Crazier. If you were to do a recall over here, it would take forever for these goons to make it up the ramp, and if you were to stasis a mine or something, they couldn't. And that is something I think in this match of this late game macro. Oh, nice stasis right over there, some tanks in the rear, and you can see here where the bridge is. It's a murder, and 1 tank dies, another one might die. Yeah, 2 tanks and a handful of vultures, but poof goes the Protoss army, and the Protoss army is now trying to set fire to this base as well. Sort of successful, and Crazier will have to send a relief force. Where is it? It's nothing there, and Crazier, although it has got mad amounts of firepower, it's not really mobile, and this base might be up for grabs. Couple of mines hit, but Only one tank protecting the base, a couple of good hits. SCVs are not really in range for repair. Now trying to vultures swarm the zealots, and this tank is alive still. That's very lucky. Now Crazier rolling up with some extra defenders, and you can see the tank count growing. And even this kind of an exposed situation without proper mines, without proper vultures, is going to be hellishly difficult for these Protoss forces to break. And Crazier should keep its tanks sieged. Where are the vultures? The vultures are all back here while these tanks are getting flanked. That's not good. That's a nice little victory for the Cutest, and the Cutest is going to pounce on this base again. Again, 2 mine hits. The tank is still there. SCVs evacuating immediately. The tanks now being given up. Reinforcements arrive in the nick of time, but the base is already lost, and the Cutest has got so many bases. Crazier's main is getting low. The Cutest, oh, it's always finding the nastiest choke to fit through. Oh, God. And at this point, I wonder if it even matters, because the Cutest has got so much production going. It can sort of afford to throw entire armies away as long as it keeps Crazier's base count down. But Crazier is slowly getting ahead on the main battlefield. There are the supporting units which failed earlier, and that made possible the flank of these tanks. And now the Cutest is going to have to fight harder and rather sooner than later, because you have to throw a couple of armies into this push just to break it down. This hesitating behavior is going to result in massive casualties, and you are going to lose these units anyway, so throw them in. You have got the production. There are gateways without end. There are so many, and you've just got to keep your throat clear. You have not got the option to get contained at the natural, and as you can see, there is no production outside of the main. And now Crazier is in liberty of taking more base, although the main is out, the natural is getting lower, and there is only mineral only, and this base is not yet ready. So if the Cutest can master one last stand, and I must say it's very brave to fight everything with gateway units, but at some point it's just not going to be enough, and this push has got a lot of momentum behind it, even though the Cutest has got a massive infinite advantage. But Crazier is rapidly coming to terms with that. 2 bases all at once, and then I think you have got a very good situation. Crazier keeping on top of everything with scans, and the Cutest army is faltering, but still the production tab is not actually that good. Saturation is good, and Crazier, that must be a very hard-fought victory, very clutch, and I can see the improvements for the Cutest that will make it possible to go one step further against this really brilliant mech army. And right now it's going to be zealots, but it's not going to matter much at all. Crazier is approaching max, and once it is maxed, you will have the devil of a job to get it back into the box. You can sort of hold the high ground, but all these tanks on the low ground, it's just not much fun anymore, and the Cutest should really have... I don't know why these probes are being sent over from across the map. That's not going to work. So a couple of takeaways for the Cutest. Production in other bases but your main. And if you have got the eco advantage, just trade even though you are trading at a disadvantage. And this army is still pretty potent, but it has got no room to move. It's got good upgrades, but it has got no room, and these tanks on the low ground are slowly taking apart the production, and the Cutest is coming in but then going out again. And if you are going to fight an army like that, you know when to commit and just pull it through. And then again, I would hate to have to play Crazier. Not that my brute war is so good, but if I were a mid-tier human player, I would hate to play Crazier as well, because it's just so tenacious and it can play so well with mech, with bio, with that hybrid bio-mech kind of thing, which makes it so very hard to touch the tanks. And the Cutest, I think it's like the Alamo, these soldiers are caught, and Crazier is now plopping down a lot of turrets and appears to be going for oh, that's just that's just BM at this point, just irradiating the poor zealots. Have we got energy? Yeah, we have got energy, but there is hardly a trader standing, so that's not going to work at all. And Crazier is now also starting on the air upgrade, but it will not be necessary. Perhaps the last chance will be for the Cutest to restart once the main base is done. It just keeps producing units over here, and that's not good. Now, where is it? Oh, slow down, boy. The Cutest is restarting over here, it looks like, and over there as well. But I think Crazier is not going to have mercy. The map is turning veritably purple. It is everywhere. There are mines. Have you got a count? We've got 190 spider mines, ladies and gentlemen. The unit composition consists of 2 battle cruisers, 25 tanks, 1 ghost, a couple of vultures, Goliaths. Everything is there. 191 spider mines. Good morning to you, sir. That's enough to be going on with. And still, things are being built. There is production literally everywhere, and Crazier has just taken this base for good measure, defending it with turret, with bunkers, and that's going to be a factory probably, and it's going to be completely ridiculous. Forge is going to go down. Lukas sort of trying to restart, but it's not going to work. And right now the king of the hill is Crazier. We have got till the 22nd of December to post your final updates, so until then we'll be keeping an eye on updates coming from everyone. Thank you everyone for making these beautiful bots. Thank you for playing. Hope to see you again in 2 weeks time. Next week Shanko will take over as usual. So yeah, that's it. Have a good week. Goodbye.